Thank you. Thank you, Lucille. I love the way you do the blessing and evoke the emotion into it. So I'd like to start today with our product education segment, and I believe we have Y who's going to step up and start us off with that.
Hello, good morning, everybody. I am delighted to present Active. Just to start with, this is the old package, but I just got my new one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of good things about Active. I use it pretty much daily. And I have a little presentation I'd like to share with you. And here we go. I took that picture yesterday. You'll find Active in the shop area of your website under Active Lifestyles. There's a lot of different combos, including Active, and we'll get to those bits later. So, Plexus Active is the ultimate natural health product that is formulated to promote lasting energy along with mental sharpness, and I need that, and enhance cognitive performance, enriched with vitamins, antioxidants, and plant-based energy. It's a blend to help you keep feeling powered up and ready to go any time of day. Maybe I need to drink some more coffee. No. Okay. Here we go. Benefits, and this is straight from the website and from the package. It helps temporarily enhance cognitive performance. Now, I'm imagining if you take it every day that you'd benefit from this on more long term. It helps temporarily promote mental alertness. It helps reduce tiredness and fatigue, and yes, I can attest to that. It helps in energy production, helps support immune function, and is a source of antioxidants to help protect against cell damage caused by free radicals. That's a lot of stuff for a little power drink. And I really, I knew it was good and I loved it right from the start, but I didn't know it had all these things that were so good until I started investigating and actually researching some of the ingredients. So basically, there's a green tea extract. Now, if you're sensitive to the volume of caffeine in coffee, try green tea instead. It too has caffeine, but much less than coffee. According to the Mayo Clinic, 8 ounces of caffeinated brewed coffee contains 95 to 165 milligrams of caffeine. I don't think I can have that anymore. It's too much. Whereas 8 ounces of brewed green tea contains 25 to 29 milligrams of caffeine. So I could basically drink green tea in the morning. I'm quite sensitive to caffeine now, having gone through all this colitis and diabetes and all this other stuff. So I do drink coffee, but it's all decaffeinated and it's really good. But I much prefer Active. Green tea is a natural source of caffeine. Green tea may be a better choice for people with anxiety or insomnia. Now, apparently, if you drink this on a regular basis, it helps you sleep better, which is news to me. It's holy cow. Drinking 3 to 5 cups of tea per day seems to be the optimal to reap the most health benefits. And you can check that website link right there when you get this in your inbox. So I don't know if I can pronounce all these. Citrulline, one of 3 dietary amino acids in the urea cycle. The other 2 are large and I don't know. Just read the rest. Taking this increases plasma levels of, I shouldn't have chosen this sentence because of the words. They're all hard to say.
Arginine.
Oh, thank you. You could be my co-host. And improves the ammonia recycling process and nitric oxide metabolism. Thiamine plays a vital role in the growth of function of various cells. Only small amounts are stored in the liver, so daily intake of thiamine-rich foods is needed. Vitamin C, we all pretty much know what vitamin C is good for. Vitamins B2, B3, B5, B6, B12, all B vitamins help the body convert food, carbohydrates, into fuel, glucose, which the body uses to produce energy. These B vitamins, often referred to as B complex vitamins, also help the body use fats and protein. Turmeric. Now, turmeric's a new one in the last bunch of years to me. Joey's had it for a long time and enjoyed it. She likes a turmeric latte, I think it is. And it is promoted as a dietary supplement for a variety of conditions, including arthritis, digestive disorders, respiratory infections, allergies, liver disease, depression, and many others. So, good thing to know. Beta carotene. In the body, beta carotene converts into vitamin A, retinol, and we need vitamin A for good vision and eye health, for strong immune system, and for healthy skin and mucous membranes. Plus these, blueberry, which is a natural antioxidant. Blueberries also help heart health, bone strength, skin health, blood pressure, diabetes management, cancer prevention, and mental health. Go get yourself some blueberries. Broccoli, packed with vitamins, minerals, and bioactive compounds, contains potent antioxidants that offer health protective effects. Bioactive compounds may contribute to reduce inflammation, may protect against certain types of cancer, and antioxidants and fiber may aid in blood sugar control. Good to know. Kale, vitamin A, as above. Vitamin C, we all talked about, we know about. And vitamin K, good for blood clotting and bone building, plus folate. B9, that's key for brain development. Tart cherry. Now, I had no idea that tart cherry was of any use health-wise, but here it is. Powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammation, heart health, pain relief, and muscle recovery. So that is not, as we say in the patron call, this is not a complete list. There's a lot more. And when I downloaded the label off of our website, I could barely read it. But if you look at the backpack of the package, you'll see that it's quite legible. It is small. You might need a magnifying glass, but it's all there. So there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit. Plus some non-medicinal ingredients to the flavoring and stuff like that. There's nothing unnatural about the stuff. It's all good. Now, so as you can see, it's a very versatile supplement and has great benefits. It's got great taste and can be mixed with your favorite products like Slim, Hydroplex, Collagen, and Greens. Use Active as a great supplement to your exercise program and healthy lifestyle. Here's some more combo packs that you can get with Active. So some of these packages are old and some are new. And some, like at the bottom there, is also available with Slim Hunger Control. Quite a variety. So to conclude this presentation, your life, powered by Active and Plexus. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Why, that was excellent. And I love the Active product. I don't use it on a daily basis, but I definitely use it as a boost periodically. And I'm a green tea drinker, so I do see the benefits of the green tea and antioxidants in there. And that was interesting. I didn't know the difference between the caffeine content of coffee or green tea, which was really good information. So thank you, Y, for that. And at this point in time, I'd like to move into that. We've done the product segment. How about any product wins, product experiences? So an example might be your own personal positive experience with a product, something you may have added or tried differently, or a result that someone on your team is having that you're excited about and you want to share, or something you've even learned on a previous webinar that you want to touch base on and share as well. So does anybody have anything they'd like to share at this time? Carol, go ahead.
Hey, hi. I have a gentleman. He is 80 years old or something, and he had a real problem with his MasterCard stabbing and everything, and everything got closed off. So I it was a hassle to get a subscription done, not, then I'll just be discussing.
Carol, can you hear me? Carol,
Yeah.
can you bring the phone up? We're really having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, not better.
Put it closer like
Down
this.
there.
Bring it
Down there?
closer so we can hear you.
Pretend you're a rock star and you're gonna, like you're singing into your phone.
That's better. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes. No. There. Is that it there?
Can't see ya.
No. Okay. Never mind. I'll write it out.
Okay,
You're doing well.
Can't hear me. That's fine.
So did you finish?
Yeah. No. If you can't hear me, I won't bother.
We can sort
Okay.
of hear you. That's okay.
I can't figure out why it's not picking up.
Okay, we'll leave you for a minute or two. If you want to come back and hop on, that would be
Sure.
great. In the meantime, Wyatt,
Okay.
did you have your hand up?
yep, I posted some days ago about my friend Ryan and the picture of his before and after picture for 5 days. He hasn't stopped talking to me since posting that. He says, you're very clever. But he's experiencing so much good feeling and health-wise, motivation-wise, brain function, everything. He's feeling so good. And he says, I gotta say that I'm probably gonna be a lifer. This stuff is great. So I'm really happy for him because he's been struggling with stress and a lot of other things, having moved to this area and buying a business. Yeah. So I'm really happy to hear it for him.
So what products did you suggest for him?
Triplex. And after the 3rd month, he went to the Pink Drink and Metaburn.
Oh, good. So his issue was targeting weight loss or energy or both?
And weight loss. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you very much for that. Go ahead, Stella.
I just wanted to share, I added a non-Plexus supplement to my regimen. I'm working on something. And anyways, it was very interesting how my body, I was on 1 BioCleanse a day in the morning because my body was so receiving to the BioCleanse because it's so good for you, right? Anyways, I could not believe I went back to my old ways of, pardon the expression, of being all plugged up again. And I thought, what the heck's causing this? And then it dawned on me, I started this new supplement, and that supplement, I don't know why I haven't looked into it, but anyways, there's just an awareness that came to me. And anyways, I'm up to 4 BioCleanse a day again. I haven't been doing that for I don't know how many years, but it just goes to show you really need to understand your body, right? Like you just introduce one new thing and something changes up just like that. And then you think the products aren't working. Well, that's not the case at all. It's just something else is going on, right? So I found that very interesting. I just wanted to share. Know your body because it really does talk to you, right? If you listen to it.
Yes, thank you very much. And you're right. We definitely have to pay attention because things, I would say seasonally, we have to make adjustments. I know when I eat certain things in my diet, I fall off the wagon. I've got to recalculate. I use the recalculating, like the GPS system, and get back on track with what I would normally eat. And for sure, one of the products that I go up and down with is definitely BioCleanse because I'm so acutely aware now of the need to be regular as opposed to not. And in my past career, I used to fly 2 weeks out of the month. I would be out of town and in planes and so forth. And I didn't realize how massively you dehydrate when that happens and how that really wreaks havoc. So it would be sometimes days before I would get regular. And when I got back, it would be quite something. But yeah, it's very interesting. Does anyone else have anything they want to share? Sally, go ahead.
So going back to the active product, my youngest son, who's out doing a fair amount of hunting and that sort of thing in the mountains, and of course you're going up and down mountains, not just hills, but he would drink probably 3 or 4 monster drinks a day. And I introduced him to active when it first came out. And so he was over the other day and he was drinking he was drinking this orange bottle stuff, and I said, "Is that your active?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "How many monsters are you drinking?" He says, "Mom, since she gave me this stuff, I haven't had one." So
Wow.
that's just the difference in a testimony. And he's one of the guys that, macho sort of deal. Well, he's got a couple of the guys that they won't sign up, but they're buying off of him. So he said, "Look, I'm only doing it for a couple of months, and then you have to sign up. So we'll see what goes on."
Fun.
Oops,
Hi,
I should-
Nancy.
Good morning, Nancy. Thanks for hopping on, Nancy. Nancy is one of my new VIPs, so I want to welcome her to our call today. This is our first call, pardon me, not our first call, her first call of hopping on. So she comes with a wealth of knowledge. She does some nutritional, has a bit of a nutritional background, and maybe we'll have a chance for you to introduce yourself a little bit later. So we'll carry on with the product segment. So what we're doing here at this point in time, Nancy, we always start with a little bit of product education. We talk about product testimonials. So this is our little section here where people come up with various results they're getting or results they're getting in other people that they're sharing information with. And that's where we are at the moment. Does anybody else have anything they want to expand on in the area of product experience? No? So I'll wrap by giving you an example of somebody that I have actually introduced to some product lately. This is and I think I've mentioned this on a previous call, but I keep following up with this young lad. He is actually one of my tenants, and he has severe Crohn's and has been regularly taking the pink drink, the pink drink, the Bio Cleanse, and the Vital Biome, which was suggested by Monique at that to support him in his journey. And he has really done well. He is feeling much better. He used to get crippling stomach issues, and he said, "I'm not even sure what this is," but it took me a year, probably a year and a half, to finally get him to try the product. And the reason I mention that is some people, it takes a long time, or sometimes it's a crisis that happens for them. And when a crisis occurs, and that's exactly what happened. He had a major crisis at Christmas, which landed him in the hospital, and he now listens quite openly. So that is the wrap of the product segment at this point in time. Thank you for all of your shares at this moment. And do we want to move at this point in time into the training segment or go into the business wins training?
Go right to your business wins, yes.
So I'm sorry, I'm looking at a bit of an older version, my apologies. So does anybody at this time have any business wins they want to share? Why? Go ahead.
So the same fellow that I was talking about earlier,
I got four,
posted on Facebook about his success. I included in it that he owned a printing business in Enderby. There's only one, so everybody knows who he is. And all of a sudden, there's 3 people of his friends saying, "I want to get started. I want to get started. I want to get started." It's very nice. And he doesn't want to do the business. So he has referred them to me.
Good.
That 3 of them will be on the call at 4 o'clock.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a huge win. So we're going to give you this because that's a very huge win. And those product calls, the pink drink calls are fantastic, and love to utilize them as often as we can. So that's wonderful. I'm glad you had
to 2 p.m.
positive result. Is there somebody else who wanted to say something? I'm not seeing a hand. Oh, okay. Any additional business wins or anything you'd like to share at this point in time? Oh, okay, no problem. We will carry on. We'll sort of pass by that. If anything comes up later on and you want something, pops up as we continue along in our training segment, feel free to step up and say something. I would say I have a huge win. I have Nancy on our call for the first time today. So welcome, Nancy. Thank you for showing up. And this is just an opportunity to give you an idea of the energy or synergy of our team. We are awesome people. And what I love about this team, and I'm just going to share this as a win, is we come from very diverse backgrounds, different locations, some in the States, some in Canada, but we all work together. And Plexus has a culture called One Plexus, where we support each other in whatever area that we need support in. And that's what I love about this industry, about this business, and about the whole concept of network marketing in general, is it is tough to do a business on your own. And what I like about the whole concept of this business is we do this together. So that's my, and go ahead, why?
I just want to add to that synergy. When we get together, it's even more powerful.
Yep.
It's good. It's like this is family I haven't seen for a while, and I get to hug everybody and appreciate is the big thing.
Yeah.
And wait until March 18th.
Woohoo! So for your benefit, and for those who don't know, on March 18th, we have our 5th anniversary. Plexus has been in the US. How long, Stella? Since
2008.
2008. So you have much more of an expansive market and a lot more people in the Plexus world in the US. But here in Canada, the products were launched in the Canadian market. And we are going to be locally celebrating here because the Canadian team are moving across the country. So we have a local representation from Plexus Canada popping up here on that date. So, and you're right, we are family. And the part I like the best is we all look like we're this height in our Zoom calls, but when we meet each other, we're not. And that was the most shocking thing. And I love that. I love when we all get together and we get to hug each other and see who we really are. And I hope, Nancy, one day we'll connect at a later time and hopefully get you. Actually, did you want to share briefly from where you're at, Nancy? Where are you located? Let people know on the call briefly.
I am from Michigan.
Oh.
So I'm in the southeast corner of Michigan. So very close to Ohio, 45 minutes from Ohio. Just 15 minutes away from the University of Michigan Stadium.
Perfect.
So originally from Massachusetts, though, and I'm still a Bostonian at heart.
Love
closer to me. She's closer to me. I'm in Toronto, Ontario. So you're about 6 hours away, 5 hours away. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. So at this point in time, we'll carry on, and Stella, Stella, go ahead and do our business segment training today.
Okay, so today I want to go over, well, before I do that, with a show of hands, how many of you were able to attend the Phil Jones training, Exactly What to Sell, this past Saturday? 3 of us, 4 of us, 5 of us? Okay, so I'm going to review quickly, high level. So Yvonne and Vera and anybody else who joined the call, please share your takeaway as well. But I just wanted to give everybody a highlight. And just so you know, the recording is available for you. It's absolutely free. We've posted it in the Team Freedom Business Together, Better Together. And you're welcome to share that link with your team for anybody that wants to learn more about this. But I love Phil Jones. I loved what he shared, the first training he did with us. And that's what's so magical about the book club. So Nancy, just for your information, Plexus, once a month, you register for this book club and you have a choice to buy the book and read it if you want, but you don't have to. And you hop on the call and, you learn all this different expertise that Plexus brings in for us to learn from. So anyways, I just want to share with you a little bit about what Phil was sharing this time. So it was called Exactly How to Sell, and the principles, excuse me, about, pardon me, hang on here. Not sure what that was all about. All right. Okay, so the first thing he talked about was the 4 cornerstones of conversation. And he broke it down into 3 segments: personal conversations, conversations you would have as a leader or becoming a leader, and conversations he called commercials, but really it's conversations about putting money in your pocket. And the first thing he talked about was you have to be in the moment. In other words, You need to know and be very clear on what that critical conversation is, or what he called micro moment, the ability to have that conversation in the moment, knowing what you want to answer or what you want to respond to. And then, of course, you move from that small talk conversation into a meaningful conversation. And so what he's talking about is, and he gave a great example about, what if somebody asked you, what do you do? And so on the call, he asked people to put in the comments, what do you do? And everybody gave their verbiage of how they respond to that question. And he was very good to go through it and break it down. And bottom line is, the first 30 seconds of any conversation is your critical micro moment. And that's what we do as human beings. And it's not that we're coming from judgment, but people come from a place of what's in it for me kind of thing, right? And so the fuel is curiosity. Curiosity is what will always carry forward a great conversation. So you need to understand other people's context. And so people do things for these reasons. And so people do these things for their personal reason, not yours. So basically, this conversation's got to be all about them. It's not about what you do. It's about you having enough questions and fuel to ask them the questions, so they're the hero of the conversation. And therefore, you're putting a fire under them because of the curiosity that you're building by asking these questions. So having said that, what did I want to say here? He came back to the question about, so what do you say when somebody asks you, what do you do? So a lot of people say, well, I'm into gut health, and, I help people feel better and reduce their bloating, or, I promote healthy supplements for better lifestyle, that kind of thing. So he said you should be starting the conversations by setting up the context first, because that creates the curiosity gap. And he gave this as an example. So he said, so somebody just asked you, what do you do? So you start off with, well, and then you fill in the blank. So for example, well, how many people, or some people, find themselves living in a busy lifestyle, struggling to be able to eat healthy, and fundamentally challenging their own personal health. Then you pause and you wait for them to say, because they kind of, mentally make a picture. Oh yeah, I can relate to that. Then you carry on with, number 2 is, which means that. So then you follow up with, which means that those individuals find themselves achieving things like burnout, damaging relationships. Then they just have an energy and a lethargy, and they're not living a life that they would like to. So now you introduce them with your courage, and you say something to the effect of, so what I do is I help those people. So the context that you laid up front, by delivering them a very practical set of supplements and solutions. That means that what they do is to be able to get the essential ingredients they need to be able to generate new levels of energy and put themselves in situations where they can feel mentally healthier. And then you end it with number 4, which goes back to, which means that they get to be able to live longer. They get to be able to enjoy more times with their loved ones, which means that they have a higher level of confidence and competence in all the things that they do in life. So he gave a really good example of, number 1, start off with, well, do you know? Number 2, which means that, so you tap back into, this is kind of like a fact of what's going on in life. This is what it means from a personal perspective. Then you tap into, what is it you do? And then why that means, or which means that. So what's the solution kind of to all of the above? So does that make sense? This is a good time to ask questions, or for you others to pop in and say what you want to say. Anybody want to add to that? Unmute. Nobody wants to add to that?
Chris, you wrote something. I wonder what you meant by when you said that you liked when he was able to restart if you made a mistake.
Sorry, I liked when he said that you can always go and restart a conversation if it feels like you've done. Yes, I captured that context as well. It's about, so you've had conversation in the past and you feel like you've screwed it up. Like you did not, it's kind of left like, I was young, I was a beginner, I didn't know what I was doing. And he actually gave us verbiage for that. Let me zip into my notes. I think I took that somewheres. No, I didn't. I have so many notes here, I can't remember. But yes, Chris, that's so true. He totally was talking about that. And it was just so amazing just hearing him explain how you can always go back to those conversations and literally be open and honest and factual about it. Hey, I know I reached out to you in the past. The conversation didn't go well. I feel like I didn't serve you. Would you be willing to give me another chance? It's just being that frank and that bold about it, right? I was new in the conversation, that kind of thing. What else did I want to add about that? Hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to flip between Zoom and my notes.
So by show of hands, who else was on that call?
The one of the things I picked up was that the person who's asking the questions is in control.
Correct.
And
Very important.
My notes, I wrote down questions lead to conversations, which lead to relationships, opportunities, and
Yeah,
action.
that's at the end here. I've got that in my segment. So there's a part here that I wanted to bring up too. So it was really interesting because one thing that really stood out for me, he said, most of us will ask people, what is your health goal? And that's how we've been trained because we're all new and learning this business as we're moving into our, comfort zones. But he pointed out and said that actually creates friction because you're asking a very direct, bold question that they may not be comfortable in sharing that kind of information. So what he did is he shared a whole bunch of questions, which I'll share with you, about starting that curiosity so that it creates the context to ask more questions, because that's where he was coming from. So first, here are some questions he substituted that question with, and it was, how important is it to you that you live a long life? Here's another one. What do you know about some of the challenges that most people tend to find themselves bumping into when they're in their 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s as a result of bad diet? What is your experience of knowing people that are being challenged by gut health? Who do you know that could benefit from being able to put that into control? For how long has this been going on for you? Who else is aware of this? How is this making you feel? What have you considered as the next step from here? What are some of the things you think I might be able to help you do? So it was really interesting and I've learned this concept before, that for any conversation, you should have 7 questions lined up to ask them. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but it made sense to me. What is your health goal? Because it puts people directly, oh God, do I really want to share that I, can't poop? Do I really want to share that, I can't breathe or I'm bloated? But by putting the questions in a state of them to be able to share how they feel, for example, is way different, right? And so at the end of that topic, he said, it's not about you solving their problem. When you can prove you understand their circumstance, that's when they trust you. And I found that very powerful. So they want you, so it's called the show me you know me button. So that's the intention of what we want to do when it comes to relationship building, is you want to be able to show them that you know who they are. Because once you push that button, that's when they become open and start trusting you more. So that was a very interesting. And then he gave us a to-do list, and it's called the 5-step dance. So questions create conversations. Conversation leads to relationships. Relationships create opportunities. Opportunities drive action. And so the questions he had asked of us are, who are the, quote, real people you need to be asking more questions of? What are the conversations you know you need to be having in your life that you are avoiding? Some examples are someone on your team who may need some tough love, to buy yourself some time from other people in your life that are holding you back. Get buy-in from someone to go to convention, for example. Conversations with self to get clearer on what conversations you need to be having that are not being had because you're avoiding them. Where do you have relationships that hold on to that opportunity? No, where do you have relationships that hold on to that opportunity? It's what you do with who you know. And number 4, where do you have opportunities that you already created in the past that requires you to interrupt somebody's day for long enough to catalyze the next action? And so back to what Yvonne said, the person asking the question is in control of the conversations. And then he went into, when people ask about it's expensive, how do you respond, goes right back. You build the curiosity. And I loved his line. He said, so his response is, you would ask, so you don't like expensive things? Because it kind of puts them into, well, yeah, I like expensive things. And then, well, what solution are you thinking? Cheap solutions are better than the right solution? It was really good. I don't want to go into all of it because otherwise this would take a whole hour. But this is food for thought of the conversations that did happen on that call. It was an hour call. And at the end of it, he summarized it. It's a 30-second impression that you're trying to make. So you want to give sincere, genuine compliments. You always want to give sincere recognition, meaningful and purposeful. And then one of the things he does too for your 30-second impression is request of an opinion that invites persons or other people into something that has been important in my world to get us back both to the same page. And then he talked about how approaching people. So really that's the summary of everything he talked about on the call. And I just wanted to share that insight with you folks, that if you do want to take advantage of the training he offered, it is available to you for free. All right. Back to you, Brenda Lee. And if there's any questions, please start asking.
Thank you, Stella. That was really insightful. And I have to admit, I did not watch the book club on Saturday. I did not. And I'm going to make a point of going back to listen to that specific training because it sounds very helpful. And it's very true. We have to, it's just another way of building a relationship or connecting with people, because that's really what we're doing is we're trying to connect with them and what are their needs. And I found that interesting that you said, sometimes the way we ask them what the problem is can be vague. And I can see that to be true because I know in certain situations, because I'm so passionate about helping them with their problem, they don't necessarily want to tell you what their problem is. And I can see the definite, in my own experience, where I've actually had people kind of not respond because I may have been a bit direct in really wanting to support or help them. So I will definitely go back and listen to that information.
Yeah, and for me, my biggest takeaway was that 30-second impression and being ready, that critical thinking. So know ahead of time how you're going to answer that question, because you start stumbling and you just start with verbal diarrhea and you're not really focusing on them. And really, it's not about answering the question. It's about setting up the context first to lead into sharing what it is that you do. Now, there's 2 steps before sharing what you do. And that's the part that I found very, the best takeaway I had anyway. So yes, I'm in the process of writing out all these scripts to see how that fits into my, my vocabulary. Because you want to be authentic as well, right? You don't want to be just copy and paste verbiage for the sake of having a copy and paste verbiage. Because if it's not you, people are going to see right through that.
Yeah, and I like what you just mentioned. It has to be from you in your own words. So the paste of someone else's script doesn't necessarily resonate with you because your personality may or may not come through on that. So, wow, very, very good information. Does anybody have any comments on that? So did anybody get a takeaway from this they didn't expect? Something they want to comment on? Oh, okay.
Does anybody care? Now we got some action.
So here's
Actually, I'm going to go back and listen to it because of what you've had to say.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there is going to be more than just one nugget. There sounds like there's going to be tons of nuggets there for us to, for me, to put my business forward and keep it moving forward, and better ways of talking with different people. And we get to do a redo too, because it's,
Juanita, just out of curiosity, did you see his first training segment on exactly what to say?
I haven't seen any of his training.
Okay, that one is so powerful. And we actually, Tracy Baker on our team made a PDF file. I took that PDF file and put it into a Word document so you can copy and paste. But the verbiage, we have all his verbiage that he shared with us on that call in a Word document so that you can easily, use it. It's so powerful. It really, I would recommend starting there first, Juanita, on his very first training call on what to say. That one was really impactful.
And wasn't that Word document filed in our files on Team Freedom?
I'm not sure if it is. But I certainly could take a look.
It was.
If it's not, Juanita, I'm sure I have it.
It was, I,
look
If
at
it's not, let me know and I'll post it in there because I can't remember if I put it in there or not.
I don't see it, but what I like to mention is that he seems to know us better now, having done this the second time or however many times he's talked to Plexus, but he's using Plexus examples and not sales examples. And so I felt like he was a bit closer this time. And I really did get a lot out of it. I did my own training yesterday about this subject and used my brief notes. And my brief notes are usually what I got out of the deal. And the one thing that made the biggest impression was the worst time to think about something, what you're going to say is while in the moment, while you're saying it.
Yeah, I agree. Why? That's what I got out of that conversation too.
Well, I like the idea.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Can I just say that watching things live is good because you're caught up in the moment of it. But for me, watching the recording where I can pause it and write down my notes and pause it and go back and go, what did they say? That's the most helpful for me.
Huge benefit. You get to do it live and replay. I was going to say that I need to replay it because he goes so fast.
Yeah.
Great information. Thank you, Stella and and everyone who put some input in there. I think this is probably one of the most powerful things we could do in the beginning of what it is we're doing is get clear on what our introduction is. When people say, what do you do? Honestly, I'd have to be honest, I still fumble with that. And I know for myself, and you're going to laugh at me, Sally, I tend to be wordy. So I have to cut it back a little bit and make it more relevant to them. And as opposed to, this is what I do, it's about what can I do for you? So thank you for that. Does anyone else have any further comments before we move on to the final section, which is questions?
Me. Just one more question. So Stella, you had all those awesome questions. Will you write those down somewhere for everyone?
I've got them in my notes, so I can send you my notes. Absolutely, Nancy.
Yeah, that'd be great because
Okay.
I'm like Ava, you know, I I have to watch the replay and it takes me like 45, well, it takes me like 2 hours to get through a half-hour video because I stop it and I write every word. And it's like, I wish we could just like download the audio in
Yeah.
print. So thank you. I appreciate, thank you.
Yeah, no
I would
problem.
love those
I'm the
notes
same.
too,
That's what I
Stella.
did yesterday. So it took me 2 hours to watch this video because, like you said, pause. I didn't catch that word. I didn't catch that phrase, right? So I'll send it to you because then you can kind of follow along as he's talking, you know,
Yep.
with the verbiage I have, and then you can amend your own. So I don't want to really put that I'll put it in the chat because I don't really want to post it in the page because it's just my own Word document, but I'll put it in the chat and you can grab it from there.
So which chat specifically?
The Team Freedom Better Together.
Okay, fair enough. Good. And
Yeah.
Nancy, I'll make sure you're in that as well.
I have the link for the recording, but it's also on the Plexus ambassador page.
Yeah, I posted the
That's
recording itself on the Team Freedom Better Together page, but I'm just saying for my notes, I'll just put that only in the chat.
Okay, great. Great.
So-
That was excellent. Sorry.
The other day, I said in the Team Freedom chat that I had a document that was a marketing minute that's part of a newsletter that I receive every week. And I really didn't want to clutter up the Team Freedom chat. I didn't want to post the article in the chat because I thought, oh, I don't know, not everybody likes this stuff. So what's your feeling? Like it was
The best thing to do, Laura, is just to get people to private message you.
and that didn't happen very
Yeah.
well.
It was very good, Yvonne. That was a very good write-up, but I got it, you know, privately from you.
Okay. Sure enough.
All right, excellent. Thank you again for any of those questions. So does anyone have anything specific that they want to ask with respect to any Plexus topic whatsoever at this point in time? Irene, go ahead.
Okay, I got a text this morning that is freaking me out from Plexus that says, on March 1st, Hydroplex Blueberry acai will be discontinued and replaced, but they're just referring to in Canada, correct? It's not being
Yeah.
discontinued everywhere, is it?
No, it's only sent to Canadians.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's a Canadian email.
I saw that a few days ago.
okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
And does that mean, thank you for that question, Irene, does that mean we can get Hydroplex, that other flavor on the NFR side from Canada?
I'm assuming that that's where we'd get it from.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for your benefit, Nancy, those of us in Canada do not have access to all of the products. You have access to the world of Plexus, and which is lovely, as well as those, I believe, Gail, you're still in the States, or anyone else who might be in there. So these may or may not apply, well, they won't apply to you, but if you have anybody that you at some future point in time enroll in Canada, these things will apply. And in the States you have, so the product she's mentioning, which is Hydroplex, I believe is called Hydrate in the States, and Hydrate is an electrolyte. And there are at least 2 different flavors, which are really delicious in the US. So I will touch base with you on that at another time, or anybody for that matter. If they don't know them, then we can lean into that at a later time. Might be another fun product training segment at a later date. All right, that is that's kind of all I had. Does anybody have anything else they want to bring up at this point in time, lean into, ask questions on? So I might ask a question by show of hands locally here. Who's going to go to the March event? Yay. By chance, Natalie, do you know if there's any events out your way? Back east?
Yeah, just some gatherings. So I'm gonna either connect with my team or see what else happens. But yeah, I'm doing something that day, definitely to celebrate. So
You can make it your day.
There is one in London, I believe. There's one in London.
oh yeah, no, that's where I might be going, but I'll see what my team is doing, who is absolutely the other way. So unfortunately, they're putting a lot of things down in Southern Ontario, where that's not where my team is. So it's okay.
How far is London from you?
London's only 2 hours. For my
Okay.
team, it is about, I'd say 6 or 7 hours. So I don't think they're going to go for the 2-hour event out that way, but we'll figure something out. I've got other people who are interested, and I might go with other teams, so that's okay too.
That's good. Yay, one Plexus. So, okay, and I believe that's all I have in the way of questions for us. Does anyone have anything else they want to bring up, or we're good? Is that a wrap? Ba-dum, ba-dum. All right, thank you, everybody. So I have a question for you. This brings us to the end of our team